Well, you're right. 23 is the thing that I'm focused on. Getting a look at it, it really didn't change much for us in 24. So it's not going to be any different, really. Moving forward, I'm sure it will be, and we'll worry about that when it's time. This 23 season and really training camp is what's my focus right now. That's a great question. It's a little different in our situation because I had been there 11 years before I had left. And then I had been away for 8 years. And I was a little bit shocked how much things had changed. And I'm not just talking about the athletes or the football. I'm talking about the infrastructure. So we had to really rebuild a lot of the things, whether it's medical coverage, the way the players ate, nutrition, training, all that. And you know what? I didn't complain at all because you know what? When you're taking a job what has to get done. And I think we're in a great place right now. I think our support for our student athletes is unparalleled in college football, what we do for the players, and I'm proud to say that, and I think our guys know that. It's one of the reasons that in this age of transfer portal and those things, our guys are staying put. And, the minute you say that, you might lose a guy, but I really feel like those things had to be rebuilt while simultaneously the recruiting and developing of the players in our program. So it's a lot to do, but certainly I feel like we're right where we need to be moving forward. Ooh, that's a great question. There's a lot of things, so choosing one is the tough part, right? Somehow, if the universities could control more of the NIL, just so there's uniformity and we don't have all the third parties that are involved. And that's not to, look, no one's doing it other than the third parties right now, so I'm grateful, right? Because without them, we'd be in big trouble. But I just don't see that being, if you look at most other businesses, that's not the way it works. Right, that there's someone else that has a totally different, oftentimes, not always, different vested interest. I just believe that somehow we need to bring that back in-house. How you do that, there's going to be people that have to decide that other than I. I got to coach a team, but I do believe that we have to somehow get our arms back around it. But right now, I have a saying under my desk. It says, if you don't like it, ... change it or change the way you think about it. So I'm not going to change it single-handedly, so I had to change the way I think about it, and that's how I've approached it. Well, I think number one, the biggest challenge, you look around at the logos on that wall, right? We play in the best conference in America. So we have to build a program that can compete at that level and then someday be a championship-level program. So how do you do that? You do that one step at a time. You recruit the right players and you develop them. And to me, that's it. And when part of the development is all the things that surround them, right? Like I mentioned, nutrition, strength and conditioning, mental health, physical health, equipment, all the areas, because then the football part, that's what they love. That's why they're there. And they want to play. They're dying to do that. It's the other things that you have to, because again, if we know who we are, we have to develop our guys and get them to the end of their career where they're playing their best football. That's how we'll win there. I don't think as much maybe as if it was a total overhaul, right? So Mike Bajakian is the coordinator there. He's been there. I think that's going to remain similar. And then defensively, they didn't bring him in to be the defensive coordinator to run somebody else's defense. So now he's the head coach as well. So I think we're going to get what we were studying and getting prepared for. The biggest thing in my career is make sure your own team's ready. That's our challenge. I need to make sure that Rutgers is ready on the 3rd because I know that Northwestern's going to show up, and we need to make sure that we do. Well, it's always important to recruit your backyard. There's no doubt about that. But the most important thing is you get the right players that fit your culture and that are gifted enough to play and compete and win in the Big Ten Conference. So if you look at our program the first time, at first it wasn't cool to go to Rutgers back in 2000, 2001, 2002. So we recruited all over the place to get the right people to fit our program. Then when we won, all of a sudden the local guys, then it was cool to go to Rutgers. And again, has that happened a little bit? Yeah, but I feel confident that in our local area, the New Jersey, New York area, which is our backyard, that we're going to consistently recruit the best players. Will we get them all? No. But I'm not worried about that. I learned a long time ago, Coach Paterno always used to say, don't worry about the ones you don't get. Make sure you love coaching the ones you do get. And that's what I live by. Yeah, it's a great question. Kirk Shiraka is a veteran coach, one that I know very well. He was on our staff at Rutgers the first go-round. He brings experience, he brings clarity, knows exactly what he wants to do, and I think he does a great job leading and managing our staff. So I'm excited. I enjoy going to work every day. I enjoy being with him. He's just a true professional. And thank God we have him, right? Because my job has changed so much just in the last year. You know, between Kirk Shiraka and Joe Harasimiak, our two coordinators, I couldn't be more pleased. It's the best staff that I've been on in my whole career. And again, thank goodness, because a lot of my time now is spent on NIL and those type of things that have very little to do with offense or defense. And if they weren't there, I don't know what would give. So I'm very appreciative and fortunate and blessed to have them in our program.